We've got Susetu as well. Hi, Susetu. Welcome to the session. I'm so glad that a lot of you have attended all the sessions, which has been really great. This is our 7th session on parabolas, and it's the Q&A session. Jason as well. Jason, we have Jason. Welcome, Jason. Hope you're doing well. Just give you another 2 more minutes and then we can begin. We've got Lesedi as well. Hi, Lesedi. Welcome to the session. So great to have you with us today. Okay, I think it's time. Are you all ready to start the session today? Yeah? I don't see any thumbs up. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Okay. Everybody else? Where's everybody else? Ipesihle Tokozani, Olwetu, Marilyn, Jason, Hloni. Welcome, Hloni. Okay, great. So we're going to start with the session today. Just while we're starting, we're going to have a look at this question, but this is, as you read on the screen, it's welcome to the Q&A session. And what's happened is, we've been doing live lessons, and the Q&A is something that we want to introduce in the live sessions as together with the live sessions, where it's an opportunity for you to ask questions. So throughout the week, Alzan has been giving you lots of homework from the Watobi app. And just by show of hands, thumbs up or thumbs down, how many of you have done the homework on the session? How many of you have gone into the Watobi app and had a look at the videos and the homework? Yeah? Okay, I'm only seeing some thumbs up. What about the rest of you? Who else has tried the activities? Yes? Okay, I'm seeing more thumbs up. Okay. What about you? Sasetu, Olwetu, Marilyn, have you tried the activities on the Watobi app? Okay, you have. Okay, great. So basically the Q&A sessions is based on a lot of the activities on the Watobi app, where we're going to be using this opportunity to clarify any questions that you may have from the questions on the app. Before the Q&A session, you're welcome and you're encouraged to send a message through on the app to let us know what your questions are so that we can have a look at those particular questions in the Q&A session. So we're going to first start with this question, and then I'm going to, ask you if you have any questions, and we can see based on those questions how we can proceed with the lesson. Okay, so we've got this first question here, which says, consider the following graphs. And we've got 3 graphs here. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger. Okay. It says, how are these graphs different and how are they the same? So how are they different and how are they the same, right? So there's many different answers to this, and we can hope that we come up with most of them. So I'm going to write you on the side different and the same. Let's do that. So I'm going to say different. I think I can move it a little bit further. Okay. So we'll say here different. Ooh, to make this marker a bit smaller. Okay. Let's fix this. Okay, so how are they different and how are they the same? Okay. And I'm going to write here the different. Okay. So anybody has any answers? How are these graphs different? Who's got an answer? Lesedi, do you have an answer? Malang? How are these graphs different? You're welcome to type in the chat or you're welcome to unmute yourself. How are they different? Their equations, is that Malang? Malang, good. So they're different. Their equations are different, right? So equations different. Okay, anybody else? What else is different? What else is different? Jason? Joy? Okay, no x-intercept. So is that something that's the same? That they don't cut the x-axis? Okay, something that's the same. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to say here the same. So same. They all touch x-axis at one point. So you see they all touch the x-axis at one point, right? Not 2 points. Okay. What else? Anything different or the same? Anything different or the same? Who else can share something on Tiretse? Kawe? What is different or the same? Joy? So for something that is the same, well, they say there are 3 graphs. How are they different? How are they the same? So they all parabolas, right? So that is same, something obvious, but we have to write that down because they could have been straight lines or something else, right? So they're the same. They are all parabolas. So they all are parabolas. Okay. They all have the same shape. Is that correct? Show me a sign from your side. You can just show me thumbs up or thumbs down. Do they all have the same shape? They do. They all have the same shape, right? Yes. So they all have the same shape. Okay. Somebody said they all have positive and negative x values. That's correct. They all have positive and negative x values, right? Can you see all of them go positive and negative? Okay, so we can say here positive and negative x values. And we're not talking about x-intercepts, we're just talking about x values in general, right? What else is different about these graphs? What about their turning points? Their turning points are different, hey? The turning points are different. So the different is the turning points are different. Okay, so the turning points of the graph are different. Yeah. And also, I mean, look, the y-intercepts for the two are the same, but the one is different, right? Okay. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I think we'll stop there with this. The similarities of you may come up with different ones, but I think we've come quite far with what's the same and what's different. Okay. Write down the line of symmetry of each of these graphs. What do you understand by line of symmetry? Anybody wants to help me with that? What is line of symmetry? Who can we ask? Line of symmetry. Ronewa, what is line of symmetry? Who wants to help Ronewa? Tsepang? Line of symmetry? You can unmute yourself if you want to chat. There's a microphone at the bottom, or you can type in the chat. Nope, line of symmetry. Okay. I think it's the line that doesn't touch the graph. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah. That does make sense. Um, So the line of symmetry is the line that indicates the on its vertex, the line that runs through the center. Okay, yeah, you guys are coming up with really good answers. Okay, so it's a line that goes through the graph in the middle so that it's a mirror image, right? So that when you take the graph and fold it, it will be a mirror image, right? So each of them have a vertex. So if I had to draw a vertex here for the first one, I'm going to draw it free-handedly, but say this one here, if you had to draw a vertex, it will be a line that cuts the graph in half. See? Is that correct? Is that what you were thinking? Sisetu? Yeah? Mala? Is that what you were thinking, Sipesihle? So that's the vertex of the first one. The equation for the vertex for the first one is x equals minus 2. So the first one is x equals minus 2. What is the next one, everybody? What's the next one? This one here, the next one. The graph of y equals x squared. What is the vertex of that one? What is the vertex? Anybody want to take a try? X equals 0, x equals 0, x equals 0. Shloni, x equals 0. Yes. So this one here, the vertex is here on the directly on the y intercept y axis, right? So it is x equals 0. So for this one, it's x equals 0. Okay. And what about the last one? What is the vertex of the last graph? X equals 2. Anybody else? What's the vertex of the last one? We've got here a dashed line going through. 2, hey? So it's x equals 2. So the vertex of the last one is x equals 2. We've got 3 vertexes, and the vertex is, if you take the graph and you collapse it in half, the vertex will be in the middle, right? Okay. Yes, great. Well done, everybody. Well done. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on now. I'm just wondering from any of you, do you have any specific questions related to parabolas from the app or in general? Do you have any questions that you're still wanting clarity on? This is your time to ask. I have taken out some questions from the app that I can look at. Okay, I see we've got Um, I think it was Alwetu. Alwetu, do you have a question?
Regarding the scale and reflect on parabola.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I think
mhm.
it was the second question in the topic. Yeah,
Okay.
it gave me a
So,
hard time.
yeah. Are you talking about the reflection of the x-axis or the y-axis, Alwetu?
Of the x-axis.
Of the x-axis. So you're reflecting a parabola in the x-axis, right?
So, is it possible that you can like show the question?
Yes. So, Alberto, unfortunately, I can't dig it out right now, but I can create one for you, and you can tell me if it's similar to what you are thinking about, right?
Oh,
Um, so this is
okay.
reflection. So it's a parabola drawn in the x-axis, and we're reflecting it. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So parabola drawn in the x-axis and we're reflecting. So they say reflect it across the x-axis or across a point. Okay, so I'm going to do that for you. Just want to check here. Um, okay, yeah, no, I can't find that specific question from the app, but I'm gonna create one for you. So let's do this. Okay, so we've got a axis that we're going to create. With a parabola. So let's do that. So we can create an axis here. And I'm going to draw the other axis here. Okay. And we're going to draw a parabola, but I'm going to draw a parabola on the negative axis, right? So I'm going to draw a parabola on the negative axis. Oops. I don't want that. Okay. So I'm going to draw a parabola here on the negative axis. Let's do this. Okay, so that's a parabola on the negative axis. And they say reflect the parabola across the x-axis or across the y-axis, right? So we're first going to draw one. I'm going to say first reflecting across the y-intercept, and then we'll do the one reflecting across the x-intercept. So if you reflect something across the y-intercept, this is your y, and this is your x, right? So if we reflect this parabola across the y-intercept, we need to take this parabola and we need to, as if it was a mirror, we need to take it from the one side and flip it over to the other side, like a mirror. When you look in a mirror, the thing is reflected back at you the reverse way, right? So we're going to take this parabola. So if this is a point here, say we've got a point here, which is the turning point of the parabola. So say I show you here turning point of the parabola. Okay, so say that's the turning point. Okay, I don't like that line. I'm gonna use something that's not. Let's do this. Let's do it like this. So this is the turning point of the parabola, right? So if we use this as a turning point, when we flip it over, or where to what will change? Will the x change or will the y change when we reflect it across the y-intercept?
So, the y, right? Or is it the
So
x?
when we're reflecting it across the y-intercept, remember the y-intercept is this one here, right? So here's the y-intercept, right? So we're reflecting something across the y-intercept. So if we reflect it across the y-intercept, it's going to be the x that's going to change, but the y is going to remain the same. Okay? So you're reflecting something across the y-intercept. Let me draw it and then you'll see. It will make better sense. So let's do this. Mm, let's do this. Okay, can you see this is the same graph, but I've reflected it from one side to the other side. So the x-intercept changes, but the y stays the same. Okay, so we've got the y here, which I'm extending. See, the y-intercept stays the same, but the x, say this was -2, it now becomes 2. Okay,
So the question I was referring to is like, I think it's find the equation of gx, something like that.
okay, we can do that as well. Let me show you. So say we've got a graph here, and it tells us, say the equation of this graph. Say the one on the left-hand side is, I'm just getting the app open again. So say the graph on the left-hand side was, say, okay, say the graph on the left-hand side was, say, just plug in an equation. Say the equation of this was, say, y equals to, say x squared, right? So say it was x squared. So say the graph was, say, the turning point is, say, y equals to, say, x plus 2, right, plus 1. Okay, so this graph is x plus 2 plus 1, because we can see the turning point is -2 and 1, right? So if we flip it across and we take it over to the other side, what's going to happen? The x is going to change. Oops, this is squared. So the x is going to change from being a positive, the sign is going to change from being a positive to a negative, or a negative to a positive. So all we do is we change the value of the x. So the x value, when you take it over, it will change from being one sign to the other sign. Does that make sense, Alberto?
Yes, sir, I
Okay.
understand.
So all we do is we just take the x value and we change it from one sign to the other sign, right? So when you take a graph and flip it across, this x is changing from being a negative to a positive. So we just change the value of the x when we're doing that. Okay. So
Thank
yeah,
you,
so
sir.
when we move something, flip it across the x-axis, we change the sign of the x, and when we flip it across the y-axis, we change the sign of the y. Okay, so I'll write it here on the side. So reflections. So I'm going to say reflecting across x-axis, we change the sign of the x. Sorry, reflection across x-axis, change the sign of the y. And reflection across y-axis, change the sign of the x, as we had done here. You change the sign of the x. Okay, so reflection across x-axis, you change the sign of the y, and reflection across y-axis, you change the sign of the x. Okay, so this is all we need to do, right? So yeah, when you just flip it from one side to the other side, we just look, what are we changing? Are we changing the x, or are we changing the y? Okay, we've got a question here from Sasetu. Yes, Sasetu? Oh, Sasetu, I think you're muted. Um, Sesetu. Sorry, Sesetu, is that a question? No? Or is it Isabella? Isabella, I see your hand is raised.
Then from the app.
Yes, yes, is that Sesetu or Isabella? Okay, I think it's Isabella. Okay, yes, Isabella, what is the question?
The parabola y equals x squared is scaled vertically by a factor of 1 over 10. What is the equation of the new parabola?
Okay, just repeat that again. You said the parabola?
The parabola y equals x squared is scaled vertically by a factor of 1 over 10. What is the equation of the new parabola?
Okay, so we've got the parabola's equation is y equals to,
X
you said
squared.
x squared, right? And you said it's scaled vertically, huh?
Yes, sir.
So scaled vertically by 1 over 10, huh? Factor
Yes.
of 1 over 10. 1 over 10, huh? Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. So, Isabella, I just want to know, so if something is scaled vertically, is that are you changing the y values or are we changing the x values?
Please repeat, sir.
If we're scaling something vertically, vertical is like this, right? If we're scaling something vertically, are we changing the y values or are we changing the x values?
I think the y, sir.
The y, because vertical is like this, eh? It's the y. Does everybody agree with that? That when we're scaling something vertically, we're changing the y. Okay, okay, yeah. So scaling something vertically, we're changing the y. So it's going to be y equals to 1 over 10x squared. So we're changing all the y values. Does everybody agree with this equation? Okay, so you scale something vertically. Yeah, okay. So you're changing the y values of the equation. All right, any other questions? I realized I didn't write that down. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I wasn't sharing that. Yeah. Any further questions from anyone? Joy, any questions? Jason? No. Mm-mm. Okay. Sipesihle, any further questions? Okay. So I have a question that I think if you're thinking of some questions to maybe try while we are waiting, if you're thinking of some other questions that I actually took out from the app that I think it would be wise for us to look at. Is there somebody that's asked something? Nope. Okay. Um, okay, we've got this question here. Did anybody see this question on the app? You can just show a thumbs up. Anybody saw this question on the app? Nope, didn't see it. Okay, so this is on one of the videos. Okay, so the question says, find the equation of the following graph which has a turning point t in the form of fx equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so it's quite a big question with a lot of um, um, I think a lot of rules that we use in the previous sessions, right? Some of you are saying you don't have any sound. I think it might be probably internet connection. Are there people who are able to hear me okay? Yeah, you're able to hear me okay? So you just have to check that your laptop, your sound is up, or probably internet. Okay. Um, Okay, so find the equation of the following graph which has a turning point t. So what is the turning point equation? So remember, the turning point equation of a graph was y equals a x minus p squared plus q. Okay. Okay, somebody's saying you can try and refresh the browser page as well, and the sound might come back. So you can try doing that as well. So we've got the turning point equation of this graph as y equals a x minus p squared plus q. Okay, x minus p squared plus q. And we've got the turning point here. Now, in this graph, what is the turning point? You can just type in the chat and let me know what is the turning point. I'll make it a bit bigger so you can all see it properly. What is the value of the turning point? -3 and -4. Yeah. Okay, -3 and -4. So I'm going to plug that in the place of P and Q. So it's going to be y equals a x minus -3 squared minus 4. So yeah, so we've got this. And remember, this was we did it in the lesson where we were discussing turning point equations and finding the equations of parabola. So what we need to do now, we need to plug another point in to find the value of a. So I'm going to choose this point here, which is 0 and 14. So that will be in the point 0 and 14. So x will be 0 and y will be 14. Okay, is that okay, everybody? Okay, so x is 0 and y is 14. So it's 14 equals a 0 plus 3 squared minus 4. Okay, now we can say 14 plus 4 equals to 9a, because 3 squared is 9. Okay, and we've got here 18 equals 9a. And then we're going to divide by 9 to find a. So a equals to 2. Okay. So a equals to 2. Is that okay, everybody? Do you remember this from the session on turning point equations? Yeah, with the parabola? So a equals 2. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we've got a, so we're going to just plug it into our equation, and we get y equals 2 x plus 3 squared minus 4. Okay. And we've got the equation, but what does the question say? They want it in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. But this is not in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. This is in the form ax minus p squared plus q. So what can we do to get it into that form? Does anybody want to help me? What do we do to get it into that form? Factorize. It's actually the opposite of factorize, which is simplify. We need to times it out because we want to get rid of the bracket. Hey, does everybody agree with that? We need to times it out. We want to get rid of the bracket. Hey, okay. So we're going to multiply it out. It's going to be y equals 2 x plus 3 times x plus 3 minus 4. Right, so maybe if you can multiply it out for me and tell me what the final equation will be, you can simplify it for me. I got a confused face from, I think it was somebody. So you multiply it out. Remember, we're going to FOIL it. Yeah. Okay, so we get y equals 2 x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 4, which will then be y equals 2x squared plus 12x plus 18 minus 4. And finally, we get 2x squared plus 12x plus 14. And that's the final equation. 2x squared plus 12x plus 14. Okay. Yeah. 2x squared plus 12x, right, plus 14. Yeah, I've just checked it, and we can check it by plugging in any x and y combination. When you plug in x, it should give you y, right? So yeah, we get this as the equation. They wanted this. Is this okay, everybody? Okay, great. Okay, well done. Well done. But remember, it's not the end of this question. What did the question then ask? It says, find the domain and range. Remember, we did domain and range the other day. What is domain? Is it x or is it y? Domain, is that x or y? Okay, I've got somebody saying x, domain is x, domain is x. What is domain? Domain, x, 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 x. Okay, this is very good because the last time I remember you were not so sure between x and y, but now all of you are saying x, so that's great. It means you've been revising your work. So domain is x. So what is the domain of this parabola? What is the domain of this parabola? Anybody? Domain of the parabola? Who can I ask? Joy? Sasetu? What is the domain of the parabola? Anybody? Yes, Joy, x element of real numbers. It can be any real number. Very good. Thanks for that, Joy. So the domain is x can be any real number because it's any positive or any negative number. It can go positive or negative infinitely, right? So domain is x element of real numbers. And we had looked at this the last time. And what is the range? What is the range of the parabola? The range -4 to 2 positive infinity. Great, well done. So the range is -4 to positive infinity. Or y is greater and equal to -4. So that's it, right? So that is the domain and range, because remember this graph is going to start at this y, but it's going to go up, right? Yeah? Everybody following this? Yeah? Okay. Okay. We've got just a few minutes left, but yeah, I would just maybe, if you've got any final questions, anybody, before we hand over to Elzan for the ending. Mm, okay. Any final questions from anybody? Nope. Nope. Are you all okay? Okay. Okay. Great. So yeah. Okay. So basically, yeah. So as I had stated before, and just want to remind you again, for those of you that probably, that possibly started, joined late, the Q&A sessions are an opportunity for you to ask questions. Ultimately, it would be nice, for you to maybe send the questions beforehand. I do understand that this week, I told you about it, just very, very recently, and possibly maybe you didn't have enough time to gather all those questions. But in the future, we're going to be having Q&A sessions where it will be really, really nice for you to share those questions. I think it was Setu who was helping with the reflection questions. It'd be nice for me to have that question so we can work through it and work through the exact question from the app. So yeah, you can just take a screenshot and send a message on the app and just say that this is something that you'd like to look at in the Q&A session for grade 11. And what I'd also like to tell you is that, and I'm sure Alsan will probably tell you as well, is that this is not the end of our live sessions, and we are going to be continuing with live sessions going forward. And please stay tuned on the app. We will be sending you communication regarding live lessons again very soon. But yeah, it was absolutely wonderful working with you over the Parabola section, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed interacting with you. Thank you so much for contributing and sharing, for revising and for answering the questions. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. But please don't go off, because Alzan is still going to chat to you. But thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed working with you on this topic. But yeah, I'm going to hand you over now to Alzan.
Woo! Can we give another hand to Dipesh? Thank you so much, Dipesh, for all your hard work throughout this time. We really enjoyed listening to you and gaining a better understanding on Parabola. So, with that said, I also want to give a hand clap to all of you guys. Well done for participating. We can see that you guys are growing, and yeah, it's really so nice to see you all face to face. And with that said, we can all give a hand clap here, but we'd love to get your feedback on a survey as well. It will just help us in the future to make these gatherings just better for you guys. So I send a link, or I shared a link on the chat. For those who can't go on the link here, let me just paste it again. So you can just click on the link and it will take you like 30 seconds to just give your honest feedback on how these sessions was for you. And if we go off, I also send you a message for each one of you. So you can just go into your messages and click on the link. Oh, Eric said this is the wrong link.
Yeah, I think you're sending the spreadsheet link.
This is the right link.
Yeah.
Well done, Alban. Okay, guys, sorry. Let me just get the right link here for you guys. But I'm gonna put the link on now, and then I also let me just see where I put this link now. Okay. Thank you, Eric, for that. Okay, guys, here's the right link for you. Okay, so click on this link. And then yeah, is there any other questions or any comments that you would like to give us? Okay, if there's nothing, just share it on the link. There's someone that just came on. Susetu, do you want to say anything? Are you just showing your beautiful smile? Okay, guys. Well, thank you so
Are you sure that's the right link? Can you shared a Notion link just then?
Just so weird.
I'm not sure it's copying correctly to your clipboard, but guys, we will share the link in the Watobi app. So right after this lesson, within 5 minutes, you will receive a link to a survey. Please click on that when you get it, and you can give us your feedback on this lesson. So thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay, guys. Well, take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. See you again
Take care,
next time.
everybody. Yeah, thank you so much, Elzan. It's been wonderful working with you as well as a mentor on this in these classes. And yeah, we'll see you all very soon. Enjoy the time off and see you soon.